What's going on? How you doing?
Bro, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I think this is probably like the most important episode I could contribute for the Dyckman Podcast. Again, my name is Jason Paulino. This is
What do you mean the most important episode? What about the entire casual supremacy series?
no, they're all great, but like as far as like what I do professionally, as far as like me personally, I've been doing this for a long time. So I've been doing affordable housing, which kind of gets like not a bad rep, but it gets stigmatized. And so I deal with Section 8. I've done it for a long time. I've done with all different like levels of it. So especially if you live in Inwood right now, if you're in Community Board 12, you're seeing the last thing de Blasio did before he left was he basically zoned this for residential, which they had fought that for a long time in Inwood. So like if you live in Inwood, and there's like four new buildings coming up. There's like the Liza, there's the one on Sherman,
The one on Sherman and Broadway.
the one on Sherman Broadway that they're building.
The tallest building in Dyckman.
Oh,
It's going pretty high.
100%. That's huge. Sherman Plaza. That's gonna be huge. So I think that's another 300 or so apartments. But right now, I think the focus is Eliza, which is the one where the library used to be on Broadway.
On Broadway.
So if you go to Housing Connect, this is where you apply to affordable housing. And so this is just like kind of just give you a background. All you have to do is register yourself. And just because, so here's so you can understand how this goes. This is a lottery, right? And the one for the Liza is open, I think like another 30 days. I just happened to register my mom this morning. So I went over, she'd been on a trip, came back, and she lives in the neighborhood. I went, made sure that now it's going to Spanish, going to her emails. But this is basically the main hub. So if you look, I don't know how far it is, you'll probably find open lotteries. You'll find the Eliza if you keep going. So this is like these are options. So there's so that's an in. What I love is too that they're gonna fix it eventually, but they put nearby transit the 4 and the D for the Eliza, which is totally wrong, which is great. But this is coming Community Board 12, so that's us. Or I mean, if you live in Inwood, you could probably look up your address and see what community board you are. But if you live in Dyckman, you're Community Board 12.
Yeah.
So the thing that it works is that their preferences, and so the biggest preference is community board. So 50% of the building. So you see mobility, that's 5%. They get these these are set aside, which is a different thing. Mobility, visual hearing, that's a part of it. But again, you see here, 50% community board resident, 5%. So half the building is supposed to be filled by people who live here. So it's crazy because it wasn't until the buildings came to Inwood that they start saying that was like not to say it was racist, or that it was like just basically further dividing people, because it always been a thing. Like you put a new affordable housing, 50% of the building is the people who live here. But then all of a sudden they had like four new buildings. So my point is that like if you live in this area and you don't like secure or have a chance to get like a brand new apartment in one of these buildings, like you just didn't like really try. There's like four of them. So I'm just saying like you can like just apply just by going on this thing. And because half of it is community board is and so either way, even for myself, it's not good to say, yeah, apply now, whatever way you want to look at it.
So basically people that live in Dyckman get priority.
Yeah. So the Eliza is only open for maybe another 39 days, right? But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Like you could submit like in the last minute of the last hour, and then it gets random. Yeah, so you should look at here's what I'll say. That is true.
Monthly rent $397
but listen, there's only a few of them, so that's only 30% AMI. So that means slide over a little bit. So that's okay. So studios 30%. So those are like Section 8. That's another thing that's definitely looked at. Put it in a low. But yeah, these are great. I mean, some of these are 2 bedrooms. It just depends on the AMI. But my point is that you're gonna have like several options if you like live in this neighborhood to like get a dope apartment, like in a new building. It's just a lottery, but like never in like, if you just want to stay in the neighborhood, like, do you have an opportunity, like, like just grab, a new cheaper apartment? And in New York, in this neighborhood, everything's so old that, if they're going to open this up, if they're going to make this residential, it's going to change the neighborhood altogether.
Units?
I don't know. It'll be there. I'm just saying, listen, give yourself a chance. It's all there though. Like go down. Like go to the license. It's all there. All the information is how many apartments it is. You just go to housingconnect.nyc.gov and like you can like it's got all the info. I wish I had more details. I applied, but like besides that, like I just give myself a chance. I don't really care. Like it is what it is because I'll get an opportunity to look at the apartment. Right, my number gets called. I'm a community board. And if I like it, cool. If I don't, I just pass on. They go to the next person. It's like a long list. But like really, this is the beginning, and it's just really easy. Like you could like I signed up my mom like today. It's funny that we like signed up this episode. Labor Day, happy Labor Day, everybody. Dyckman Podcast. And yeah, but look, so yeah, laundry room, recreation room, rooftop terrace. So this is the library. This is, if you live here, Broadway and Cumming, I guess, exactly where it lands. But yeah, so right next to Final Fair. There's a few people who are always posting about it. I don't know when like Sherman Plaza is gonna be when they're gonna open up the lottery. You just have to kind of stay aware, like Uptown Collective and like there's a few guys, Carmen Del Rosa. There are people who you can follow who are constantly updating. That's how I like knew right away. I applied like day one, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't they opened the window for 60 days, right? Yeah. And then everyone just throws their name into this pool. And then after that is when like no, like after it gets closed, it gets randomized, and then you find out like, but it's like there's like a period, so it's like this lotteries all work like that. It doesn't matter. It's just like it doesn't matter like if you apply right away or right now. It just doesn't matter. It's awesome that way.
So basically, if you live in the area,
get in there. Yeah, so just apply. Yeah. So this one, so I don't know how many days is this one still open? I think it's like 30 days. But my point is like you could like it's just like not much information. And you just like basically reserve your space.
October 13th.
There you go. So yeah, so it's got you still have like a few weeks left, and doesn't really matter. And again, you can just take a look at the apartment if it's something that you're serious about. You could or listen, you can get the call. You have no interest, and they could be like, "No, I'm good." That's it, But like you have the opportunity to who knows what they'll offer you on a brand new building here in Inwood.
Basically, like, you have nothing to lose.
You nothing. You really don't. So I mean, trust me, it even puts myself in a because I applied to that and I definitely want to get in. But yeah, I know it's gonna be a rat race. But to be honest, yeah, I mean, there's a few. My point is that there's a bunch of brand new buildings coming, and even if you don't get that one, I'm gonna like stay in the game. Like that's just kind of my main like gig with that.
Yeah. You are aware, and knowing is half the battle.
It's definitely half the battle. Figuring out what income brand. Affordable housing is a very interesting like place, or like I've been doing it since like 2015, and I worked at these lotteries before, and I started in Long Island City, and they built all those apartments like it looks like Las Vegas. And they built all those like 700.
You worked for housing.
I work for Related. I work for, but in a lottery just like this. Like I was a leasing agent for like 1,000 apartments in like 2015. I've worked for a lot of these big, developers.
Were you the guy actually picking the people?
No. So it's totally randomized. So it's like they really go, like the city is really tough. Like, like HCC, we deal with HCC all the time. HPD, like they are, I don't even like honestly, like because I still work in the industry. Like I don't even want to say like like no, they're great, but they are, but it's a government agency and they, like they do what they want. So you play by their rules, and I just, that's what a compliance. It's like basically what my job is. I'm a compliance specialist, or it's like someone, I'm like a paperwork bouncer. I'm like the person who's like checking your ID, looking at your docs, doing the math. There's like a way, I'm a certified occupancy specialist. So right now I help a bunch of people with Section 8. People don't understand how much money um, Section 8 gets, or like just because like if you think about 2020, right? The people who kept paying their bills were Section 8, because it's like it's covered by it's like literally the only thing I'll say about it is it's a very interesting job to do, because like in America, like no one likes to talk about their finances.
Yeah.
Right. In Section 8 or on these subsidies. So I work in the West Village. So it's not what you think it is, you know. Like if you can imagine what the Section 8, the West Village looks like, right? Looks exactly what you thinks it looks like. You realize they look at your income, but a lot of these people have assets. They have money in the bank, and so I deal with people who like they might their income when I calculate it, they might make like 15 grand a year, but they have like a million in the bank. And I can and like and they qualify
because it goes by the income.
It goes it's an income. It doesn't really it's the probably the biggest like okay, you know, you see, you're like, this person definitely does not need to be, but subsidized. But I will say that the money's already been allocated, you know, and at that point, you're just playing the game that's out there. And I tell people who are on in my program, don't feel any kind of shame, right? Because you're playing by the rules. But the rules are there, and I'm just saying that they're compliant.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it's not about whether it's right or wrong. I'm like really that like the only good thing about my job is it's so black and white, you know? Like if you're 1 cent under, you're 1 cent, you're under. If you're up, you know, you're 1 cent over, you're over. It doesn't matter. Like I have people who, you know, bands, how, you know, like it's crazy how they calculate things, right? But it's like people are like, how's that fair? I'm like, it's fair in that everyone gets treated the exact same way. You know, like it's not fair. Like some people, like the way they'll calculate some things are kind of, you know, but I have a 790 page, you know, like book that dictates my life. Like there's nothing, I tell people like, there's nothing personal about this. This is just like, there's nothing subjective about it. That there's just a bunch of rules, and I know where to find the rules. But it's like people are like, "How do you know this?" And I'm like, I mean, for the most part, I do know it. I've been doing it for a long time. But a lot of times, I tell them I don't know it, but I know where to find the answer. You know, and that's kind of what I do.
No, and a lot of the times you're not looking at the person, like you're literally just looking at the page with the income and the name. And
I'm a very exactly. So like for me, it's like there's just nothing personal about this. I've had to give people very bad news and things. I'm like, listen, I don't. If it's not me, here's the thing with compliance and that kind of stuff. There's like several levels to it, right? So I tell them, listen, if it's not me, my boss is gonna catch it. My boss can catch it. My boss's boss is gonna catch it. Someone's gonna catch it, and basically it's gonna come down to me being incompetent. And I'm not gonna do that. But the numbers of the numbers, I did not make any of these rules.
Yeah.
I didn't make any of these numbers to the set. I was like, listen, you got to go to your state's person. Whoever deals with this is not me. I'm like a cold blooded, which I like. You know, this is kind of a cool thing. It's like you just get to be like, yeah.
If you guys have any other questions for,
of course, and if they ever want to add any comments, any questions, but you have to understand is even the person who contacts you, if you get called, if you're lucky enough, you know, we don't have any control over that. Like they literally, you know, give us a list of what you know you're handed to the back to the developer to whoever's at the Eliza. They're gonna hand them a list of the order that you handle them, and then we have to deal with basically whatever city regulations. But yeah, give yourself a chance. Like you said, if you live in, District 12, like, yeah, if you're, may the odds, be ever in your favor.
Worst case scenario, just pass on the opportunity.
No, exactly. You can pass. And I'm just saying a bunch of apartments are coming up. And if not, you're going to be like, oh, look who's living. People are going to say whatever, but you do have an opportunity to live there. They are required to fill up the building 50% with people from this neighborhood. Some people, it's like one of those things, and you're gonna have a bunch of, it's I'm just saying it's gonna be a wild ride, but never like I don't remember there was a chance where there was like 4 buildings in like this one. It's just like a small neighborhood, and I mean maybe in Harlem something, or there's other parts of the city where there's that many like new opening buildings. But yeah, you could get some like looking over the water kind of news thing. It's definitely just worth having an account. They'll email you and they'll text you and they'll send you the whole thing. And it's like most people don't know about it. And that was what I thought was important about coming here, was that I think too many of these things get stigmatized, and it's the whole thing. I was like, listen, these are options for you. And I think talking about affordable housing, think about like the homelessness crisis in this country. Like when you think about like a lot of things, like some things that people should really, and so they kind of they don't want to talk about it. They do everything. I work in it, and it's just it's like a lot of stuff that you have to navigate. You know, and do it on purpose. I don't know on purpose, but like it's just like sometimes you're like this is harder than it should be, but that's what it is. And New York, I'm thankful for. I mean, you do pay more to live here, but there are more protections. And I think it's just kind of what keeps
The balance.
there has to be, and you're living in this world where like you see what the shortcuts on the other end are like, and then you're like, oh, like people always stigmatize these other things and these other safeguards, like I don't know, just you try to, if not, the people go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like the masses, like if you look at all history, like the Roman, like they feared like the masses, they feared like them just going, just being like, oh, I can't do this anymore, and just like going nuts because there was a lot more of them. I don't know. I mean, I think I just think affordable housing is one of those things that, especially if you're here, do the best you can. There's a lot of especially older buildings in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
My apartment is like, I think built in 1903. I think the stone, the stone outside says it. So yeah, I'll take a shot at it, and maybe, I don't know.
Well, Jay, well, thank you for putting us on to the Affordable Housing Connect.
Of course, I appreciate
that. I feel like everybody should get on, especially if you qualify.
Yeah, if you qualify, might as well. And listen, and my point is, try to be honest. We'll ask you for like update, like income information, assets, but eventually
make sure you have your paperwork.
It's all paperwork. So, okay, I'll tell you this whole thing about compliance right now. I'm going to tell you something. Save every receipt. Like, have a bag or something. Like, I get it. We get a lot of paperwork, but like, literally, that's my whole job are receipts. And I'm like, keep them things for something, for reasons. Just find a box. Like, that's like my adult tip for anyone is being a compliance person. It is true. Listen, it's all paperwork. And so, like, it's annoying, but like, there are just some people who are very good paperwork. There's that old like, Fight Club thing. It's like, oh no, that's old school, I think. But yeah, either way, I'm just saying like being good at, like all you need is to keep your receipts and keep them in a bag somewhere. Don't open them, whatever it is. Just know where they are. It might just pull off somewhere. Just have a bag, have a receipt bag. Have a dollar bag, have a receipt bag. Like I don't know where this goes, but now I know.
Well, there you go, guys. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out at Jason Paulino.
No. Well, I would say, to just leave comments on your thing. I am at Casual Supremacy. I'm the CEO.
Tune into Casual Supremacy Podcast.
Oh yes,
it's on the page. We got under podcast. It has its own little division there.
It is fun. It is fun.
Jason.
And so that's usually my stick on here is Casual Supremacy, but I felt like I had to kind of, especially right now while this boon is happening, the Liza again is only open till October 12th. Apply. It's like it is extremely important, and yeah, then if not, don't be upset about whatever comes next. It just is what it is. They'll figure it all out. We did good though, man. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me, man.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. Thank you for stopping by and letting us know what's going on, especially with the building within our own neighborhood. And yeah, man, stay tuned for some Casual Supremacy. We're gonna get into the shits.
Absolutely. And listen, as this develops, I would love to come back and understand as these things happen in phases in the city and as you deal with all this stuff. But as this goes on, as the next project comes on, I'll definitely tell you more. Again, this is just phase one. You've seen this for, probably a couple of years in the water there, not the water, on Broadway there. But for me, it's nostalgic because it's the library. And I just think whatever, it's just because I grew up, that's where I learned how to read. I had like all these clubs there. So yeah, but if not, but honestly, I would love Sherman Plaza's like, that one's going to have a lot of apartments. That one's going to be good. If not, that's like
we could cover that one too.
No, I will be back. We will talk about it. And I'm just saying,
and guys, if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment on our YouTube page. Yeah, preferably our YouTube page.
Definitely down. I will definitely take a look. Yes, I am an IG Paulino underscore Jason. Add me if you have any questions. You could definitely DM me. But yeah, I mean, this stuff is just an opportunity. They're brand new, and I've just, again, that was the last little cap that De Blasio he just opened the genie. And think about how many new buildings opened up. That where the old Pathmark was. I'm old enough to remember all this stuff was. He's building the library. I just think of it like that, and then that old, I think that was the old welfare building. It was something I don't even want to. It was just like an old government building with a building, Sherman Plaza. So it's just interesting. I just, I can't wait to see what. But it's gonna be a whole different neighborhood very soon. Like in the next 5-10 years, like this will be like unrecognizable.
Well, there you go, guys. Remember Jason Paulino, Casual Supremacy, and also the Chosen series.
We'll be back. We'll talk more about this. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.